Blessed love, happy Sunday. I don't know where in the world you are, but it is sleeting, freezing rain here where I am in the southeastern United States. So I can hear all of that behind me through this window that's right behind me. Welcome back to Wise Hearts Garden, where we plant seeds to grow you, where I share things that are relevant and have been in my life, and just trusting that whoever happens across this channel, this information, that it may serve you in some way. And if you don't find things that serve you here, then I know that you lean on your own discernment, do what you need to do. So at any rate, I talked about self-care on Friday, and as we moved into this weather event, it caused me to think more about things that happened in the past when I was still working in law enforcement around like extreme weather, and what I was seeing and thinking about and how it related to self-care. And so, yeah, I've just been reflecting on that. Also reflecting on your relationship with yourself, and how self-care begins with honesty. It begins with being honest with yourself. And I believe that our relationship with ourselves inform all other relationships. So if I'm not able to be honest with myself first, then I'm not going to be able to be honest with other people that I am in community with. And so that's why I believe it's so important. And it also, for me, shows how we show up for ourselves and respond to ourselves in times of stress, and how we lead, how we love. And so I wanted to talk a little bit more about that today. For me, self-care is listening to my inner landscape, my inner voice, and responding with integrity. And I think I talked about that on the last video. Not overriding that inner voice, not silencing it, not trying to push it away, but sitting, being intentional, slowing down, because slowing down is the main thing, to actually be able to take in what's coming forward, and not waiting until I'm exhausted and I need to just go sit down somewhere. So self-care does not happen in a vacuum. It happens in real life with real circumstances, real life conditions, and that includes the weather. And so, since they have been forecasting this storm Fern, I have really been observing folks' behavior. The driving has been more aggressive. People have been more aggressive inside stores, not really thinking about the fact that we all are trying to care for ourselves. With some people over consuming, purchasing things, so much of something, and not really thinking about the entire community. I had a conversation with my son that works for a grocery store chain, and was sharing what he was observing in the buying patterns, and I just told him, I said, well, my hope is that the people that are buying all these things, maybe they're not just buying it for themselves. Hopefully they're in community with someone, and someone else needs that, because as this world is shifting from the old to the new, community, how we care for each other are important themes. And so back to self-care. We're currently experiencing snow and sleet and ice here, and people's mobility is affected. It's limited, actually. And so when we're confined and not able to move about freely, and our usual options are taken away, if you are not caring for yourself daily, or if you don't know how to care for yourself, it's going to show up in your actions. And I worked in law enforcement for 22 years, and for 7 of those years, I dealt with arrestees, people that had been arrested for different crimes. And what I noticed when we had extreme weather events was that we had lots of domestic assaults between people that lived in houses together. So when people were snowed in together, we had like a spike in assaults, and the same in the summer. Look at me. The same thing happened in the summer for folks that in extreme heat that may not have had air conditioning. The same type of thing was happening where there was a spike in assaults. And so I was always curious about, why? Why is this? We're all nature, we're all connected to nature. And so I just started, my own little investigations and asking questions of the people that were coming in, and finding out that it seemed to be this built up pressure. The same thing I noticed when we were in the height of COVID, and I was meeting with people virtually that were in a couple of different programs that I was participating in. We had to check in on one another. And some of the women expressed that they did not want to be home with their own children when their children were out of school for COVID. And it made me remember, again, the extreme weather conditions where people had to be in the house together with their family. And there's all kinds of situations that are happening, all kinds of dynamics. And I'm not trying to take away from any of those, because somebody might not feel safe to be in their house with someone. And I understand that as well. So I understand there's all kinds of dynamics, but I'm speaking specifically through the lens of a self-care lens for people that might not have something else going on. And so when the women told me that they didn't want to be home with their children, again, I was curious about how they were caring for themselves. Because what I was thinking about was the limited movement, that they probably felt like they didn't have choice, unmet needs of how to care for themselves, unclear boundaries so that they could have time to themselves to care for themselves or do what they needed. And so, yeah, it's all made me very curious. And it's not about a judgment from me. It's just information that I was gathering along the way. Information about boundaries, about capacity, about support systems, and self-care practices, or the lack of them. And so I talk a lot about self-care because it has transformed my life and is continuing to transform my life. I'm just picking up my tea because I feel like I'm just not taking a pause right now. And so that's part of my self-care. It's for me to slow down. I don't have to get it all. Ooh, some strong tea. And so self-care isn't just what we do when life feels calm. um, but it's what supports us daily. It supports us when things are not calm. If we have established and created this foundation for ourselves. And so, in my own daily life right now, self care is woven into my days. It's not something that I wait for time to do. Yesterday, I did not feel 100%, and yet, the strength that I did have, I was determined to make sure that I was supporting myself in case our power went out. Did I have things prepared that I would be able to eat? Were the candles and lanterns and everything ready in a space that I would be able to access them? Had I filled up, water in case I needed that? And yeah, was everything accessible? Had I put out the snow melt and everything outside, the sidewalks, the driveway? And so what I did was I made a big pot of soup so that I would have that. Also made a salad and and I juiced. I cleaned off some fruit and veggies and made myself some juice because I knew that that would help me to feel more energized. And I was trying to think of what else, but that's my self-care. So then, and it's real life self-care. So I just like to share the things that I'm doing because so often when I talk about self-care, people think it's something else. And so today I feel more energized. Yesterday I did not work out. Today I have worked out. I have done my movement. I still may do more, but I did my lymph movement as well. And I had my morning drink. And I still have an herbal tea right now. And these are things that I have included in my day to help me feel regulated and resourced. And they're not, for me, they don't feel like extras. They just are incorporated into my day now, where before I was just kind of out here. I was just kind of out here and not really aware of what I needed to feel resourced. And so these are my foundations. And self-care for me is an ongoing process. So things shift and change. But again, these are not extras. And one other thing that I did not talk about in Friday's video. Self-care hasn't always been individualistic. A lot of people talk about self-care as being selfish. I look at it as a necessity in my life. I don't look at it as being selfish. I think when you're being selfish, you're taking something away from someone else. And I'm not taking anything away from anyone else. I am giving to myself. And so if anything, it could be considered self-full because I am taking care of myself so that when I give to others, when I say yes to things in life, that I'm given from that place that feels like love that I have given to myself already, that now can be extended out to others. And so, self-care hasn't always been individualistic. It historically has been communal in lots of ways that I have read about, that now I'm able to identify it as self-care. And so it's even been ancestral when I think about some of the ways that people have practiced self-care or what looks like self-care to me. Because rest happened together, ritual happened together, care happened in community. There were care webs where community took care of each other. There were circles like the Sacred Self-Care Sunday Circle, healing circles. There were social clubs. My mother was in a social club. My grandmother was a member of several social clubs. There were shared meals, choir rehearsals, and practicing songs, prayer, witnessing of testimonies, whether that was at the barber shop where people were talking about their experiences, the beauty shop, just friends gathering, the bowling league, feeling seen and belonging somewhere. These are all components of self-care. So sometimes self-care looks like allowing yourself to be held in community by ritual or by something larger than yourself. And so that brings me back to Sacred Self-Care Sunday. The next one is February 15th, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it is a time to be seen, to be heard, to be acknowledged, to be in community with others that are building their own self-care foundations. It is a time, of connection and of reflecting, of listening to your inner voice. If you haven't established, your own practice, it's a place to be in community and to do that. And so this circle is a collaboration with Woman Heal Together Initiative. We have circle agreements that once you register will be sent to you so that you can see if it aligns with you. But it's something that I feel strongly about because I just know how much self-care has changed my life. I don't hear the sleet anymore, so maybe it has slowed down. And just wanted to share what else was coming up for me after Friday's video, and just sending you so much love wherever you are in the world. Just trusting that you have exactly what you need. May we all have what we need. May we all feel loved. May we all be free from inner and outer harm. Take good care until the next time.